I have always been curious. For those of you who ended up with partners that others might see as out of your league, purely based on conventional attractiveness, what do you think made the difference? Was it your confidence, social circle, shared passions, or being in the right place at the right time? I am not trying to reduce relationships to looks, but I think many men wonder how to bridge that perceived gap. I would love to hear your real experiences. Please, no humble brags, just insights. Story 1. I am fun, witty, and charming. While she has better looks, I make up for it with dad jokes and effort. It also helps that although she is more conventionally attractive than I am, I do not think I am unattractive. I am a solid 4 who can cosplay as a 6 if my jokes land. Story 2. Everywhere outside of the internet, people care about other things. That is basically where it starts and ends. Most people, male or female, take the whole person into account. Sure, your appearance might open or close a door, but ultimately who you are matters a great deal. If you want to reduce it to 2 things, appearance and personality, most people would choose a person with average looks who has an excellent personality. Story 3. Never stop making jokes. The more she laughs, the more her eyes close, and she cannot see how ugly I am. Story 4. It helps to remember that no matter how a person looks, they want to be respected, listened to, and cared for. Everyone wants someone who can deliver empathy, kindness, humor, and compassion. Being attractive does not change this. It does not change their needs as a human. If you can provide these things to someone else, no matter how they look, there is a good chance you can make it happen. Story 5. This is from experience. My top 10 I gave my little brother and his friends. 1. Social skills. Stop trying to be charming and funny. Yes, being yourself works better than trying too hard. When people sense you're performing, it comes off as fake. Women notice this from a mile away. 2. Confidence, not arrogance. Being comfortable with yourself makes people more comfortable around you. Arrogance is loud and makes you look bad. Confidence is calm and sure. 3. Appearance. It's not about brands or looks. It's hygiene and how you carry yourself. You don't need money to brush your teeth and tongue, smell good, or stand tall. The small things matter. 4. Emotional balance. Most men are sensitive, including me. Knowing how to deal with emotions and conflict is a strength. It's not weak to feel. It is weak to explode or shut down all the time. 5. Respect yourself. If you let someone walk all over you just because they're attractive, you're not showing self-worth. People will test your limits. Know yours and stick to them. 6. Be direct. Being clear is better than trying to be clever. Games get old fast. Being upfront saves time and energy. 7. Respect her boundaries. No means no. If she's not into you, leave her alone. It's not personal. It's preference. Trying to win someone over who doesn't want you never works long term. 8. Have ambition. It's not about having money or fancy degrees. It's about having goals and purpose. That shows you care about your life and where you're going. 9. Attractive women have expectations. You don't have to be rich, but you do have to be honest. Don't fake a lifestyle. Don't show off. Be real about what you can and cannot do. The right woman will respect that. 10. Politics and social views matter. This matters more than people like to admit. If your views totally clash, the relationship won't work. You might as well split the check and walk your separate ways. It's not being closed-minded. It's being smart with your time and energy. 11. Don't take yourself too seriously. Dating should be fun, not pressure-filled. Rejection is normal. Learn from it, don't fear it. Bonus. Be ready to talk about at least one book you've actually read. Don't bring up Joe Rogan as a reference for everything you know. Please don't start talking about cryptocurrency or the stock market unless you really know your stuff. If you do, be ready to accept the loss for the night. Story 6. I got the impression that I was the first person my wife met who could hold a proper conversation with her and asked her about her day with honest interest. I think that is it. Otherwise, I have no idea how I got here, but I am not complaining. Story 7. If you are an average person, All you need to do is make her remember you. The best way is to be funny. Story 8. Confidence, compassion, open-mindedness, a good sense of humor, and the knowledge that looks are the least important thing once you have your foot in the door. Story 9. If you are not wealthy, humor and confidence are essential. Secondly, do not chase. Attractive women are often pestered by men, so you will instantly become more interesting to them. Your best chance is to know them first, for example, through work. You do not have enough time in social settings to establish sufficient value in their eyes. I have had a couple of very attractive partners. Honestly, it is overrated. They receive a lot of attention when you are with them, whether at work or elsewhere. That may seem flattering, but it is actually quite annoying. This explains why women often get frustrated with men. Story 10. The attractiveness distribution between the sexes is much more evenly distributed than most people want to admit. Social thought has been influenced by decades of women using numerous image techniques that artificially create the belief of a large gap in attractiveness between the average man and the average woman. In the rare cases where there is an authentic difference in partner attractiveness, it is almost always due to a lack of shallowness. Despite societal insistence, what you are describing is not that mysterious. Story 11. Mutual friend. She is 37 years old, has no children, no money, and no job, but she is a full-time student. She was seeking a provider and a giver. I was fooled by her looks. Never again. Story 12. I am really tall, charismatic, emotionally available, financially stable, and confident. I lucked out on several aspects of the genetic lottery, but my face, though, is rough. Story 13. I am not an unattractive person. I have no trouble attracting women. I am not universally attractive, but I am definitely someone's type. I am pretty sure everyone, regardless of gender, ethnicity, or age, thinks my wife is attractive. She is a very beautiful natural redhead. I am attractive enough because I tick a bunch of other boxes. She thinks I am smart, funny, capable, and caring. She finds my quirks endearing. All of these things are subjective, but fortunately, these are the qualities she believes in. I am not a small guy. She loves that I make her feel safe and that I can easily pick her up and carry her to bed when she is too sleepy to get up on her own. She is an amazing woman. She is very attractive, but that is almost a side note to who she is as a person. Everything she loves about me, she has 10 times over. On paper, there are probably better choices of men she could be with. I think the problem is that they all forgot that she is a whole person and not just an attractive redhead. I am sure I broke through the walls because I do not get flustered by attractive women. They are nice to look at, but if I have to spend time with someone, I want to know them. I was one of the few who talked to her like a person and not an object of affection. Don't get me wrong, I included some flirting when it was appropriate, but more than anything, I wanted to hang out and do stuff. I wanted to be friends. I just made sure it was clear along the way that I wanted to be close to her. Story 14. I think every woman I have dated has been more attractive than me. Definitely my wife is. My last ex before her ended up in Indian cinema. How did it happen? A mixture of being charming, funny, thoughtful, and my social circle. Every woman I have dated has felt like the center of attention when I am with them, and women like that. Estimated time of arrival. Attractive women can get attractive men. They want something more than just another attractive person. So whatever that other factor is you have can make a huge difference. Story 15. Her trauma made her think she was worthless, but I treated her like she was awesome because she was awesome. She said her time with me was the first time in her life she felt she could be herself around someone else. She opened up a little bit at a time and kept waiting for me to leave, but I stayed because I thought she was truly special. She was a pure dork and had been socialized to be a sexy dummy. We had to work through some self-sabotage in the early months. Almost anything bad that can happen to a person has happened to her, and it is my honor to make sure her past does not define who she is. We have been married 17 years with 3 beautiful children. We each believe the other has terrible judgment, but these days we trust each other and accept our good fortune. She is a therapist now, working with teens and young adults. Just be nice to people. They are probably starving for it. Story 16. Just ignore the fact that she is attractive and treat her like any other girl. It is much easier than you think. For men, looks account for approximately 80% of the equation, while for women, it is closer to 40%. Story 17. I do not even know. I asked and expected to be rejected like every other attractive girl had rejected me before. Only this one did not. We have 3 children now and she wants more. I guess she just likes me. Story 18. I ended up breaking it off due to long-term compatibility issues. I was called ugly while she was described as a bombshell. I think what got my foot in the door was being relatively fit. But she stayed because I made her laugh, never pressured her into anything, was always kind, and we had fun. I also think she did not have healthy relationships in the past, which worked in my favor. Story 19. Confidence, playfulness, and compassion or empathy. I am a decent-looking man, but I have dated some very beautiful women. If you are friendly, can engage in fun conversation, ask meaningful questions, and show real empathy to make people feel seen and safe, they respond well. Story 20. Pure coincidence. We just met and clicked. We met because we were both late for a conference. We were the only 2 people at the registration desk. We said hi and started talking, and that was it. Story 21. It's all about confidence and who you are as a person. If you are sweet, caring, and funny, you have pretty good odds. Story 22. I consider every girl I have ever dated to be like Mount Everest compared to my deep-tier looks. I put on a cheerful and optimistic attitude with flirtatious comments sprinkled in. Story 23. By treating her like any normal person. By developing an emotional connection first before a physical one. By having her open up to me about things occurring in her life. By making her feel heard, seen, and understood. By appreciating her and giving her my full attention. By the way, I am on the obese scale of fatness. Still, that did not stop me from being successful with highly attractive women. Story 24. Timing? She was looking for someone, and I was just there existing. It wasn't until after our second date that we really hit it off. However, the third base carried me home. Being larger than average really helped. Story 25. I think she likes my smile. We were friends first. I did not try to hit on her initially. I mean, we were kind of flirting. Our conversations flowed well, so we had interpersonal chemistry. Before anything else happened, she asked me to dinner one night, I think as friends. Then it was, let's hang out again. We went to a show, and while working our way out of the crowd, I held her hand. That's where the magic happened. We did not let go of our hands. Story 26. Every situation like this that I see in my life and in people around me, the guys are among the funniest, kindest, most outgoing people I know. It is pretty obvious what they saw in them. Relationships that last require more than looks. Looks are the appetizer. But without the main course, you are just going to end up hungry. Story 27. I started chatting with her on the trail about her dog, then about our shared love of travel, adventure, and the United States national parks. Little did I know, she had journaled just a week earlier that the man of her dreams would visit all the national parks with her. So step 1 was done in advance. I am very easy to get along with, listen well, and am thoughtful almost to a fault. My children are out of the house, so I have plenty of free time to explore. Story 28. She wanted to know me by my self-deprecating humor on a social network where I had no photo, name, or any other identifiable information about myself. Story 29. I honestly have no idea. My only guess is that I have a very extroverted personality and was fit at the time we met and started dating. Story 30. I went to school with her sister and was friends with all of her sister's friends. She was at a New Year's party one year, and the girls all talked to her about me. Story 31. I listened, truly listened, and paid attention. Once you do that, everything becomes much easier. Story 32. I remember I did pull some 10s when I was around 18. I didn't stay with them because I wasn't interested in relationships, but from what I can gather, for a man, attractiveness isn't that important. You just have to be fit, have charisma and wit, and show her that you're able to take care of yourself and stand up for yourself. A woman who values herself highly wouldn't want to be with someone who can be walked on. That is just common sense. Story 33. My first girlfriend was attractive and appealing. Why did she date me? It is like asking if God exists and how the universe and life began. Story 34. The one time I pulled that off, she turned out to be absolutely crazy with borderline personality disorder. 0 out of 10 do not recommend. Story 35. A woman likes a man for who he is and the way he looks. As a man, you have to have confidence in life. This expresses itself in different ways such as wealth, humor, discipline, and large social circles. It depends on your character what will be revealed to the other gender. For appearance, it is important to look clean and mostly healthy. Story 36. I think my wife is more attractive than I am, but I basically just broke the ice, went on a few dates, found out why she was still single despite her physical appearance, and used that advantage to influence and connect with her. Story 37. For me, it was being comfortable in my own skin and not trying to compete with societal expectations of attractiveness. Story 38. Her ex-boyfriend was an alcoholic who cheated on her. I do not drink often, and she believed I was too unattractive to cheat on her, so she chose the safe bet. It did not work out, but it was fun while it lasted. Story 39. By being relaxed and confident around them, by treating them like normal people and not like sexual objects or goddesses, and by recognizing and acting upon their signals without pursuing anyone who is not signaling me. Story 40. My first ever partner was, at least that's what I thought, out of my league. I weighed 360 pounds, was unemployed, and had come out of a very rough patch in life. She weighed 175 pounds, was a registered nurse, and had everything together. We were friends online for years, and what made her fall for me were my eyes and upbeat personality. Story 41. Go up and talk to them. It helps if they are already in your social circle. Despite what some people online think, a woman's physical attractiveness does not seriously impact your chances with her, unless she is supermodel tier beautiful or extremely unattractive. In my experience, it is actually easier to get with people rated 6, 7, or 8 than those rated 4 or 5 who might actually be in your league but have been conditioned to treat men with suspicion and defensive contempt. Story 42. Well, I was more attractive when I was single. When you live alone, it is easy to diet and work out. She was very attracted to me, and I was attracted to her. When we became exclusive, it became problematic with some of the guys she was either dating or friends with. What cracks me up is how much less attention she received on social media after she changed her relationship status. Story 43. My wife is way too hot for me, and that is a widely held consensus. How I got her. I am a generally nice person. I have my financial situation together. Those are the tickets for entry, as no woman with a lot of options wants a guy who is a mess unless they are a mess themselves. Physically, I take much better than average care of myself. I am skilled in self-defense, which makes her feel safe. I have empathy but will not give sympathy to someone who creates their own issues. I am mildly humorous. I make friends easily. I am honest. I am better than average in appearance. I am a planner, and she enjoys that things are put together. I am dominant. These combinations of attributes work for her. At the end of the day, it's not that I pulled someone out of my league, it is that we actually complement each other well. Story 44. Spent 3 years working on myself, learning to listen to what people like and don't, worked on getting a career, moved to a place where people were more like me, stopped drinking, took up hobbies, and improved my hygiene. I found that if you set your baseline at being a decent person, it's easier. My girlfriend says I am a good boyfriend. I joke and say I do the bare minimum, but it's kind of true. Most guys are so self-centered that doing the bare minimum is considered going above and beyond. Story 45. I was funny. She once told me, when I asked her what she saw in me, that hanging out with me was like a sunny day at an amusement park followed by a warm hug. We have been married for 17 years. Story 46. I have been with my wife for 28 years. She tells me there were basically 2 things that made her want to date me: my forearms and my sense of humor. Story 47. Many beautiful women focus on one perceived visual flaw, such as their eyes, nose, or ears, and do not realize how attractive they are. I found one woman who was beautiful and intelligent, with the most beautiful laugh. We connected through intellectual discussions and then shared personal values and other topics. I married her. Story 48. They come to me. I can talk to women without being awkward, ask many questions, remember what they tell me, and make them laugh. I am old enough that applications and the internet were not how we all grew up communicating. So I have always been able to talk in real life. Story 49. I did this one time. Almost every guy in my very small town wanted her, but she only wanted me. I basically got her by just being in the right place at the right time and being completely unaware that she had a huge crush on me. The relationship itself was awful because I did not realize I was dating a very violent and unstable person. In the beginning, I was even shocked that I somehow had her as my girlfriend. Story 50. I don't know how attractive I am. I just know that sometimes during my teen years, I noticed that the most attractive girls I knew were looking at me in that way. Then I received a love letter from one, and from that day I could never settle again. This actually made me even more frustrated. When I was rejected by the girl I loved, I dove headfirst into pickup artistry and practiced until my success increased dramatically, only to realize that it didn't cure my loneliness at all. So I quit completely. I avoided pickup techniques for a while and it helped. I noticed that you develop even better connections by trying less. Although I don't actively use these skills anymore, they remain part of my personality. So sorry, I can't be with you. Story 51. I have a high level of confidence, a good sense of humor, a well-paying job, and I am a fairly good conversationalist. Story 52. It is honestly simple, you have to become someone desirable. Looks are not as important when the long term is considered. Yes, you have to have some attraction, but being a good provider and person can solve almost every problem you will encounter. Story 53. Well, I do not think I have a conventionally attractive face and my partner is gorgeous. Probably helped my case that she is into fitness and I am strong. We have many shared interests. Also, the sex is pretty amazing, if I may say so myself. Story 54. I read many joke books and memorized jokes. Some of the best included guidelines on how to construct jokes, how to find humor in any situation, and how to make gentle fun of something without being mean. You know the trope of the attractive girl with the plain guy, and she says, "He makes me laugh?" That's me. Story 55. My girlfriend is way out of my league. I am pretty active in the entertainment world in my city, have played in a few successful bands, and am part of very active social circles of people who make interesting music and art. As far as musicians go, I am not a total scumbag. I met her through our world. She usually dated total egoistic musicians. We have mutual friends. She is also a musician. We realized that we got on really well. Plus, I made her laugh, and that is important. Story 56. I do not know, it just happened. I only date good-looking women, but there have been a handful that were absolutely stunning, including a couple of models and one sitting Miss Name of European country withheld. It happened, oh well. My experience is that they knew they were beautiful, yet they needed constant attention and validation, a clear sign of insecurity. Story 57. So, I haven't dated in a long time. Let's think back to when I was in the Navy. I was thin and worked out. There was not much else to do on a Mediterranean cruise. Once I approached a woman or was approached, I was confident and funny. In my opinion, women like to be entertained. Get them laughing and wait for their hands to touch your arms, shoulders, or other body parts. Story 58. We were 20, and she chose me. I was hard to get because I just could not fathom that she would be interested in me. Still together 32 years later, married for 25. So basically, I do not have a clue what I did or did not do. She has, however, told me later that she was attracted by the fact that I am smart. Story 59. Dancing. I always meet women above my league at dancing events, such as bachata lessons. It is a ticket to social interactions, and you get invited to parties or beach workshops. Story 60. There is no such thing as a league. If you believe there is one, you are already losing the game. If someone is interested in you, you will know. If someone is worth your time, they will make time for you. If you feel like you are trying too hard, you are. Story 61. 2.5 years ago, I had just turned 18, 20 now, and was at work. I work at a sushi restaurant and was just starting to train to be a server. There was a girl doing a working interview. Let's call her E, 22 at the time, 24 now. The first thing I noticed about her was her eyes and the way she carried herself. Very confident, almost intimidating. We quickly became really good friends, bonded over some of our favorite books, and worked together all the time. Last summer, we started spending more time together outside of work, along with a mutual friend. We would drink, play board games, and talk about anything. We often slept over at E's house, all three of us in a bed, as ridiculous as it sounds. I had had friends in high school, but these felt like the first friends I could be completely open with. He had been in a relationship since I met her, but last summer he moved to a different country, and things just fizzled out between them. I didn't want to be that guy, but she was my friend, and I wanted to be there for her. Of course, I caught feelings, and they came pouring out one morning in bed after our friend had left. "I'm scared of falling in love with you," was the exact thing I told her. I was terrified of her reaction, but was met with comfort and care. She didn't push me away, but pulled me closer. Because of the age gap and how young I looked at the time, I was never a consideration for her romantically until those feelings came out. I had nothing left to hide, so I started treating her how I was always too scared to. We would sleep and cuddle together most nights. I would do her chores and fill her water bottle. It felt like a relationship without any of the benefits. I could see her starting to fall for me, but was very conflicted and confused about her feelings. I eventually made a move to kiss her. I had never had a girlfriend before, so I was mortified at even attempting. It was super awkward and had me questioning everything. About a week later, she made an actual move on me, and we made it official about a month later. No one in a million years would have thought we'd be together, least of all us. She was the attractive sorority girl who was applying to medical school. I was the short, nerdy college student who had never had a girlfriend. But through friendship and truly acting in accordance with my feelings for her, I was able to win her over. Be confident, honest, and kind. Find shared interests and bond over them. That's what worked for me, as unconventional as the start of our relationship was. Story 62. We think similarly and have a great time together. It is not so much about looks. We both did not find the other person attractive at first. It is about the personalities we just match. Story 63. Come on, aren't almost all heterosexual relationships like this? Men place more value on finding attractiveness than women, and women place more value on being attractive than men. Therefore, most men date and marry up in terms of appearance. Story 64. For me, it helps to remember that many women wear makeup that conceals most or all of the imperfections in their faces, and for many, they even look like completely different people. If a man has nice skin and a handsome face, it is likely not enhanced with makeup 99% of the time, although some vain or insecure men might use products subtly. I also think that people who are relentlessly worried about having the hottest partner are not truly seeking a fulfilling relationship or appreciating others as imperfect individuals with their own consciousness. More often, they see people as accessories or objects. I probably do not share much in common with them in terms of how we view life, find fulfillment, or develop confidence within ourselves without seeking validation from others. That is, if we are talking only about superficial matters. Those people are predictable in their viewpoints, desires, likes, and dislikes. They are like clones or drones caught in an empty competitive social media paradigm, trying to showcase a fantasy life and appearances made possible through surgery, drugs, or other artificial alterations. Story 65. We are not dating anymore, but I liked a few of her posts on Facebook. We talked about games, and one night after a few drinks, I told her I liked her a lot. She said she liked me too. She was more into me than I was into her afterward, and she is extremely attractive. So just ask her out. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.